It's a photo of you and obviously the late Ken Block.
He's very good student, very good customer.
Can you remember the first
good friend.
time you met him?
Well, the first time was when he came. I didn't know him. I knew Travis. I've heard of Travis, but he came to get Travis to come to the school, and because he was sponsoring Travis. So
Block was sponsoring Travis.
Yeah, DC Shoes.
Yeah.
And that's really what it was all about. And so then he's like, well, I'd like to drive. You know, he didn't say he wanted to drive in rallies. He just wanted to come rip around.
Yeah.
And then at the time, I can't remember. I was supposed to train both of them, but then at the last minute, they brought Higgins in, and David Higgins trained Travis.
Yeah.
Because Travis said, and he just told me the other day, he regretted it. He said, I didn't want to sit through the classroom. I didn't want to learn. David said, you don't have to.
Just come out with me. Yeah.
So I'll teach you how to go fast. Tim's just going to teach you like things like how to stay on the road and not hit shit, you know. So, so Ken's like, I'll go with you, Tim. So I had, 4 or 5 days with Ken alone. I think that's how it worked. And how it usually works, the Vermont sports car guys, they get involved, right? So they want to get Ken and Travis in a rally car. So they want me to teach them enough so they can drive the car without breaking it or crashing it. Then they'll get excited, and then they'll start writing checks. And Vermont sports car then says, thank you very much, goodbye. So by the day 4, day 3, or whatever, they roll in with their rally cars. I'm like, oh, no. I barely get Ken to stop hitting things with my old Golfs and old Quattros and old Subarus. He was doing pretty good, but, now another 100 or 150 horsepower was going to make it more complicated.
Yeah.
And I think I smoked cigarettes at the time. So I'm pretty sure, like, when they roll the car out, and then I have to go from teaching you on a cream puff Subaru to a Group N rally car, I'm like nervous. It is very sketchy. That moment where you have to go next 3 levels, not next level, next 3 levels. And
how did he do?
He did very well. I mean, after I smoked a half a pack of cigarettes, but he came into it, and he's like, he wasn't sure he could do it. I'm like, you can do this. You've got the skill. I know. I do this all the time. But he wasn't convinced at first. He just said, this is kind of fun. I can't do this. I mean, I love rallying. I'd love to be able to do that, but I'm not a professional. He just was blown away that I could bring him in 4 days, go from not knowing anything about driving. I mean, he wasn't, he knew something. He'd been driving cars all his life, but I think it was that time at the school that he realized he could do this.
And what was your relationship with him after that? He obviously went on
I'm just a teacher. I'm the coach. He'd come back every year before New England, and then he'd send Lucy and then Leah.
Did you know him on a personal level, Ken?
I mean, just the time we spend in the car, not really, no.
Yeah.
But he was always very nice to me, and he was saying nice things about the school. We got along pretty well. We probably mostly shared story about raising children, because, all right, this is what I do all the time. I'd rather talk about kids or something.
Yeah. I think that's that's a side of Ken that nobody really saw. Obviously, everyone saw the car.
He was very good with his kids.
Very good with his kids.
Yeah. And that's, you don't see that a lot in a lot of famous people like that.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, whatever, I got kids. Here they are over there. It's about me, isn't it? No. So that's one thing I notice I deal with a lot of famous people, or I used to, and they don't want to talk about their movie that got the #1 hit. They don't want to talk about their #1 song. They want to talk about rally, or they want to talk about their kids.
But what I think is so fascinating, that he obviously had a great career in rallying, but it all started with you. Do you think about that at all?
Yeah. He was I'd say he's the most famous student we've ever had.
Yeah.
Because his millions of followers. But yeah, I think he was always generous, and he was always kind. And even like when we'd go out to eat, he would be worrying about his kids, and the kids would be running around flipping out, and he'd have to go chase them down or whatever. you know, we kind of acted like just two old guys.